It's an evil genius kind of day.
Wicked. Wicked tones, you know.
I officially got the dumbest comment I've ever heard in my life on Instagram. This is hands down the dumbest thing I've ever had written to me. I wish I didn't block the guy, so I don't really care. He says, I guess it was a video of me talking about reps or talking about, I don't know what I was talking about. And he's like, I don't really think it matters. 5 reps is 5 reps. I'm like, it's like just meaning like the 5 reps you do, if I do 5 reps of this, just as long as I count to 5 and accomplish 5, it doesn't matter what I did. Like, I don't know if people can fathom the stupidity of that. Like, literally, it's probably one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my fucking life. So we're gonna do 5 reps for whatever today. It's still driving me wild to see this crap. Driving down, it's like, we'll never be rid of it. So it'll just keep happening from the sheer amount of knobs out there promoting it. It's like, if you set your posture here, and again, I create space between my head and my elbow. So I'm forcing this elbow in front of me. I'm not just going and putting it here. I'm forcing it, my shoulder almost pushing out in front of me and setting down in me here. So I'm on a line where I'm just pulling straight down. I'm rocking my body away so I can complete that straight line of my elbow dropping down. At no point am I pulling into me or am I tucking to my side. I'm just open on my lat and rocking on the line that it starts on and moving my body around it. I'm convinced that people have never felt their lat properly. To think that like, oh, you just do this and then my lat. It's like, first of all, if your head is this close to your arm, how are you supposed to get any type of arch in your back or anything? I can't even get any movement in my body because my head's pinned here. I can't even lift my chest. I'm creating this like rigid thing. I don't even know what it is, but if I posture myself here and I roll out in front here, I create this space, which is like, you can visually see that, what I'm doing, and then rocking down, not twisting, just rocking back and forward. I can look at myself in the mirror and see myself moving forward and back. I'm getting closer to the mirror, I'm falling back from the mirror. Everything is about setting, right? So I'm picking this up. I'm not shoulder off my body, I'm shoulder in. So I'm getting closer to this side, locking my shoulder onto my body, up through. My pull is always me moving this way. I'm always launching forward, sitting back forward. So we're not rocking up and down. Caused quite a stir with, everything I say apparently, because the truth hurts and people don't like to hear it. It's like, if it didn't apply to you, why do you care? Because I'm not calling anyone out by name. I'm not trying to like harm your business or harm you or banish you, or I won't call you out. You call me out, we're gonna have a problem. But it's like, if you're so fucking sensitive, or what I'm saying affects you so much, the old saying, like, if the shoe fits, right? It's time to wear it. You gotta put that fucker on and wear it. So you wouldn't be getting so butthurt about stuff if you didn't think in the back of your mind that maybe this is applying to me. This is what I do. Because if you're just a good dude, straight up, doing what you love, doing the best job you could, not being implicated in like inappropriate things, you would never think that I'm talking about you, right? The wicked few, and we will be draining the swamp of fucking bodybuilding. The amount of fuckery and smoke and mirrors and absolute inappropriate behavior that's been accepted for so long will be brought to light. Even with all that bad stuff or all that negative stuff, are putting people in their fucking in their place or tell them to stay in their lane. It's like bodybuilding is an amazing thing, right? Because all of us, including me and probably everyone in this gym, you could say like bodybuilding has enriched their lives and helped them. Like a lot of people might have had confidence issues growing up, or maybe they have anxiety. I know personally through my life, a former coach of mine who now passed away, he dealt with like life-altering, like mind-altering anxiety, right? To the point like where people, including myself, were taking him to the hospital because he thought he was having a heart attack. He's just full of anxiety. Like there's nothing physically wrong with him, other than he was convinced in his mind that things were very bad, right? So it's like when I started and others started encouraging him to like come back to the gym, come back to what you know and like what you love and enjoy and be around that environment more. It's magically this guy like propelled himself back to where he was as a person, right? And flourished, became better than he was before. So it's like it's a lesson to a lot of people that like this place is meant for bodybuilders, it's meant for athletes, it's meant for powerlifters. We're all here under the same goal of like getting better at whatever it is that we're here to get better at, right? So nobody's knocking anybody. Making commentaries on people and cracking jokes and having fun is what we do in life, right? But it's like I'm happy to be a part of this industry, and I'm happy to be a part of like training people and helping them look they want to look, or give them more confidence, or you know what I mean, like just promoting this idea of like bettering yourself will better your life, right? In the sense that like if you feel good, if you look good, you'll feel good, and if you feel good, that's the whole meaning of life, right? You want to feel good about ourselves and walk around, and not that everybody needs a six-pack or to be as big as Quentin or Antoine, like monsters. Like that's just probably not in the cards for a lot of us. But it's like at the end of the day, like you can be the best version of you, and it's just my goal to like steer people away from almost like these fucking demon people who want to like pull you in and like sell you this snake oil, like this is the way to do it, man, there's no other way. And like if you really research those people, they don't know fucking anything. Like the bad people I'm talking about, I'm sure people can like attest to like people they've dieted with or been coached by or trained by. Like these people do not have your best interest at heart. They're here to like leech money from you, and probably in the process of doing that, destroy your body. I wish I had some penalty flags the other day when I was here. There was some people in here they'd be getting unnecessary grunting penalties, especially considering the size, experience, and ability of some of these people. The fact that like every fucking set you're doing, it's like me doing this where I can breathe and talk. It's like me trying to like make it like, like it's like I can make it look good, but that's not it. It's like if you can be relaxed and you can squeeze and breathe normally, why the fuck wouldn't you want to? And if you have to grunt that hard to get your set, you're doing too much weight. Like it's not. I can probably recall the times that I've yelled in the gym. Like that's how few and far between it is. And a lot of those yells were like involuntary, like benching a weight or squatting a weight that I've never touched before, like requiring everything I have to move it, which is a hell of a lot more than like 2 plates or a plate and a quarter. It's like the yell just kind of comes out from you. Like you get to the bottom, your body's like, oh fuck, but it comes out as, ah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I hear in here and other gyms, but especially in here, is like people doing fucking bicep curls or fucking pec deck, and they're fucking screaming. Like, what the fuck is going on? These are not movements that require that much fucking effort. Like, it's like every set is the top set. Like, you're a fucking top set. What does that mean? You're a top knob. Little known fact, this can be used with both arms at the same time. And it doesn't have to be used as strictly a teaching tool. You can actually get a workout on it. If I could just find a 25 now. Like whenever I want a 25, they all hide. All the 25s take off running from the gym. And he needs a 25. A lot of people have, have this machine in their gym. It's like pretty old school. You'll find it or a variation of it, some type of stack pin loaded row. And these are, in my opinion, obviously you can't go as heavy as 400 pounds, but you can sit down and base yourself, and I can have all my weight stable on the bench, and I can use this chest pad as my counterbalance to pull weight. I don't have to worry about posturing myself in midair and having something tweak in my back or whatever, because like the best asset a bodybuilder can have, guys, is to be injury free. There's nothing to do with like strength, intensity, all that stuff's great, but all that shit goes out the window if you're hurt all the time, or you have to adjust yourself because you can't do what you want to do, right? You end up like me. You have to adapt to workouts because your shoulder's got arthritis in it. You've got a fake hip. You can't do a lot of like certain movements, right? So the longer you can stay injury free while pushing the envelope a little, like knowing when to step on the gas and pull back, this is the key to bodybuilding, guys. It's not how much weight you can lift. It's your longevity in the sport, your ability to keep getting better and progressing every year. Not just like, oh, I got crazy big one year, then I herniated a disc. No, and then I came back, I tore my quad. No more fucking bodybuilding, right? So that's what we're trying to get across here. So if I can lock down here, this is the same as I'm holding here. If I hold this here, I'm too high for this handle. But if I hold this here, this is my barbell row. If I'm standing up here, leaning over, I'm locked now, right? But now I'm tucked in lower to my elbow, so I can just swing up through and rock back. So I can let those shoulders rock out, rock those shoulders back and squeeze. Rock and fold. So the progression is slow. And I'm flexing in at the back. I'm pulling my hands as tight as I can and flexing my back together. Almost cramping my lower back in that arch. Rocking through. So it allows full extension, and then drive up chest, throw shoulders down and back, pull hands in. A guy who's really, really good movement-wise with that, on machines he does it on, I think his is kind of pitched forward and he rolls back through it. We'll show something similar in a minute. Is Brendan Ray, who if people aren't following, and people are following you, Brendan, you know that. But if you're somehow living under a rock and don't know who that guy is, like find him on Instagram. He's one of the best moving people you'll ever see. One of the best physiques you'll ever see as well. Like, I think like, oh, he's on stage winning this and that. No, man. You walk by that guy on the street, you'll be like, what the fuck is that? Is that a superhero or a fucking... Is that an actual human? Like that round muscle, you know what I mean? It's crazy looking. But that's because he understands, that's his genetic to kind of have that shape and size. But he also understands how to move with that genetic and understands really how to train and sit on muscle, right? It's like here, this machine, the number one thing you can learn on this machine is this. The shoulders shouldn't be here, they're here. They don't ever come out of here. They're tucked down, my scapula's tucked down, my shoulders are pressed down like someone's holding me down. I'm letting my hands out, breaking my arm and pulling. Pulling. So my hands lead me out, I pull back. So I'm rigid, locked in a position, moving back and forth. I'm not trying to pull things. And I'm not trying to stay in one forward position like a lot of people stay here. A lot of people are getting better at this where they're like ranging out and they're laying back and they're rocking down. So they're understanding that this is a lot less impeded of a movement than if I'm here going, like you're gonna get lat, but you're not getting like, if we're talking about lat, like inserting into our spine at the bottom, this whole like wave of lat that rolls out up into my armpit area, like this whole, basically for a lack of a better word, wing that's rolling off the spine and coming up like this. You're getting like this edge. So yeah, your width is getting a good, you're getting a good like outer edge lat kind of contraction here because you're kind of trapping on rhomboid and you're just rocking here and staying tight. But you're not digging into that lat insertion. until you're able to lift up and roll through and pull that hand to about there. It's like where I can feel my fucking lat literally where it inserts to my spine here, contracting, right? That's what we want. I don't want to train my bicep going like this only. So I don't want to train my back going like this only, right? Understanding how to keep your head rigid in a spot, and when you pull, not going, which is what everyone you really want to do. I want to do it when I'm doing this. But I'm fighting to keep my head down and press back. So I can keep that posterior line of my body stiff. So when I pull through, I'm not breaking that. I'm pulling through my back, which my head's pressed back. So my back's engaged and I'm driving through that engagement, right? So most guys don't get that. I'm with girls too. It's just like, wherever my head ends up, it ends up. Let's just get it as close as I can to my arm because it's comfortable. I can just lay there. So you train a lot of people and I'll be messing with their, like telling them my whatever cues or whatever, and they're like, oh, my neck is. He's like, yeah, because you've never actually used your neck. You never understood that you might have to lock down your neck, or at least keep it in a rigid spot for the fucking 5-6 seconds that is your set, and you'll develop neck muscles. I know that'll be crazy. Like, to develop neck muscles is scary. It's not a bad thing though. It's good to have a stable neck. It's like people are like, oh man, holding this position is whatever. Well, it's a lot better than you going looking like you're having a fucking exorcism.